Hi there, welcome again to our science review. And this time we are going to talk about the frictional force. We are done with the meaning of force, the different types of forces. Now, let's focus on one kind of force, and that is the frictional force. I want you to look at the two pictures here, a sliding on the ice on the snow, and then the other one trying to slide on the grassy ground. So if I'm going to ask you the amount of force or amount of friction between the two pictures, which one could have a greater friction force there? Very good. It's letter B, because for all we know that the rougher the surface, the greater the frictional force. So let's see. In this kind of road, it will be hard for us to stop this moving car, even it is already in a brake position, but still the road is so smooth because of the ice. So therefore we can say that there is less friction present on this road, the reason why this object or this car keeps on moving. So, how are we going to determine friction or define friction? Friction opposes motion. Always remember that. When there is a friction, the tendency of a moving object is to stop from moving because of this force. This force opposes the motion of the moving object. It causes the object to slow down and eventually stop from moving. So the application of friction is illustrated if you are going to let a coin roll on the floor. It will roll down, but eventually it will stop. It's because of friction. In the absence of air resistance is a special type of frictional force whenever the object is traveling through air. Which one will reach the ground first? Is it this hard and heavy ball or the feather? So in the experiment done, removing the frictional force will let these two objects fall on the ground at the same time. So, in a regular manner, if there is a resistance force, we know that the hard, heavy ball will reach the ground first because the feather is affected by this air resistance force. So the heavy round object will reach the ground first because there is another force that affects the feather. Like what I said, it is the air or the air resistance force. What is this air resistance force or air friction? It affects the motion of falling objects by acting against the force of gravity. So friction is that resists or the one that resists or opposes the relative sliding movement of surfaces in contact with one another. We have different kinds of friction. One is called the rolling friction when an object rolls over a surface. Rolling friction is produced, and it happens in any round object that moves on the surface. Another is called the sliding friction. It is also called dry friction. It says that the rougher the surface, the greater the friction. And we know that if you want to push the sofa on a tiles, then it will be easy for you because there's less friction. But if you're going to try to move the sofa on a ground which is sandy, then therefore it will be hard for you to push that sofa. Same thing if you climb on the tree, if the surface of the trunk is rough enough, it will be easy for you to climb the tree. The third is the fluid friction. It occurs when a solid objects move through a fluid or something that flows, like liquid. Fluids such as water, air, and even oil. These are my example of fluid friction. So that is how easy it is. The meaning of frictional force. I hope you understand how it works on the object. And remember that the rougher the surface, the greater the frictional first. And we have three types of this: the sliding, the rolling, and of course, the fluid friction. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you come back and watch again another review of science topic. Thank you very much. Bye bye.